heard Craig on Chris Williamson's podcast talking about he might go to Turkey and do Turkish oil wrestling. I've got a lot of contacts there. And I said, yo, if you go to Turkey, let me know. I know people that know people. And then I kind of put that together for them out there. And it was great. It was great fun. This is my theory. You get the real nice ones that don't have to feel like they need to prove a point. But then you get the other ones where they're like, yeah, you didn't get picked for the football team at school, innit? You're coming to take my ankle off. I can feel it, the way you look. I always see the black belts with no bum, no glutes, have the most injuries. That's what I've seen, right? So the best split I would say is maybe before you do steroids, not TRT, but like actual fucking steroids, if you're going ham, I'll suggest you see a therapist first, and then and then start jumping on some real shit. You know what I mean? I was competing, and he was there, and the way he's screaming, he's like triangle, triangle, triangle. I'm like, I'm telling him what I'm gonna do, bruv.
Diren, we obviously know you very well in the UK because you're quite a well-known fitness professional and authority. So we followed your career for many years, and a lot of our audience are obviously grapplers. And as we know, not many grapplers do much gym work. And also a lot of them are American as well. So they might be looking at you thinking, you look a little familiar, but we don't recognize the name. Yeah. But you look a little bit different to the last time we maybe saw you, which was in Turkey, greased up with Craig Jones and Luke Rockhold.
yeah. Oh, that's right. They would have seen me. They would have seen me with that, yeah. So I'm basically the guy that they paid me not to train jiu-jitsu because apparently I was too much of a threat, you know.
Of course, mate. Of course, yeah.
You know? So I thought, you know what? I did it in the fitness industry. I don't want to try to take over the jiu-jitsu, you know. I want to let that go, you know. But yeah, they might have seen me in that vlog. You might have seen me in other stuff that linked to jiu-jitsu. It's weird, isn't it? I know a lot of jiu-jitsu people that are really like top tier big dogs, and whereas jiu-jitsu for me, it was not it wasn't a football was my thing, innit? I grew up playing football, so like if I met Ronaldinho or Rivaldo or someone, I would be like fanboying. But like with jiu-jitsu, I never really cared that much until I really understood jiu-jitsu and the sport really well. And then I realized, I was like, holy fucking shit, I train with Roger Gracie. Shit, I've got the GOAT's phone number, you know? Mate,
it is funny, isn't it?
So yeah, then I ended up making lots of friends with lots of jiu-jitsu people, and that's kind of how I ended up in Turkey, really, with Craig. Had no idea Luke Rockhold was going to be there, but Craig messaged me. We spoke about I heard Craig on Chris Williamson's podcast talking about he might go to Turkey and do Turkish oil wrestling. And I've got a very large following in Turkey, and I've got a lot of contacts there. And I said, yo, if you go to Turkey, let me know. I know people that know people. And then I kind of put that together for them out there, and it was great. It was great fun. It was great fun.
Yeah, mate. It looked amazing, mate. How hard is oiled up Turkish wrestling, mate?
Bro, you know what? As homo as it looks, yeah.
Mate, I'd give it a go, 100%. 100%, I'll be in there.
Anyone that makes those comments, yeah, I would love to see him walk around those guys because they're so fucking masculine. It's a joke, bruv. Like, and there's big dudes there as well. And you look at their fucking forearms and their hands, and you're like, this guy is definitely a farmer and is just doing this for a hobby. But is an absolute killer, you know? But it's really hard because you're doing it outside in the heat, under the sun, with oil, while there's a geezer trying to go down your pants and kind of fucking sweep you or whatever, you know? It's pretty wild, yeah.
Did anyone go too deep, mate?
Craig and Luke were always trying to slip their fingers in places, I guess, for content, and maybe not for content. Maybe that was
just for fun.
Maybe that was an excuse. I don't know. But it was great fun, and it's very difficult. And a lot of people, they're like, why are hands going down the pants and all that stuff? There's actually like places you can grip in there, almost like a gi. So that's why your hand goes in and you hook onto the stitching because it's like proper leather. Like they're expensive. You can't just buy them, and getting into them is a whole different fucking story. And you ain't got any boxes or anything like that. You're just like it's fucking slippery down there. And, yeah, so there was times where you feel vulnerable, but you know, I mean, if there was anyone that's going to do that down my pants, it might as well be a UFC champion, you know?
Yeah. Mate. I should get an eyes on it, mate.
Yeah, if it was some skinny dude that does IT, then I'd be like, okay, am I a dickhead? But, you know, UFC champion and whatnot. So, yeah.
I'd let Luke do it, in fairness, mate. It'd be all right, wouldn't it?
I feel like these are the origins of the oil check, mate. Right here, we've discovered it, right?
Yeah,
it, mate.
Origins, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
And what was the whole trip like in general, mate? It looked like it was fun, mate. Because obviously Craig's traveling everywhere at the moment.
Yeah,
he's having a blast, isn't he? So what was that like? Like just showing him around, and was you basically like his chaperone for a few days or a week or something?
You know, one thing I noticed about people like Craig and whatnot, and I'm very similar in what I do, is that I plan, but I don't plan too much, and it's kind of just like go with the flow and whatever sort of happens. Nice. And when I was going out there, I told them I got connects and whatnot, but I actually had nothing locked in, you know? And Turkish people and like the culture in general is like, if you know someone, you're doing favors. It's not like, hey guys, we're having dinner at 9 p.m. in 2 weeks. You're all solid. We have your guest pass. It don't work like that. We got into the stadium. I ended up finding someone that was a legend in the sport. So I didn't even have anything planned. So when I was going out there, I was hoping they're the same vibe. And they were. So hanging out with them was just real chill. So it was like, there's no pressure in anything. You're just doing kind of whatever comes. You eat whatever, wherever. Like, no one's booking dinners and shit. It's just like, yeah, let's go here. Let's go there. What do you feel like? I'm tired. Let's chill. But it was good. It was nice. I've hung out with Craig and that before. So it wasn't anything new. I didn't know Luke Rockhold. I didn't know who else was there. Braulio's brother was there. I met him. I didn't even realize it was Braulio's brother, and I know Braulio. And I was like, "Why the fuck didn't you tell me?" But it was just good, man. It was just hanging out with lads, innit? I don't know. It was great.
Yeah, it's just normal, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Is that Braulio's brother Victor? Yeah.
Yeah, Victor. Yeah, Victor.
Yeah, nice. So he was out there doing the wrestling as well, or just out there just knocking around? Was he really?
He came out. He's solid. He's solid black belt.
Yeah, I think he's a former world champion. He's been around for a long time. He's head of GB Europe, I think, isn't he? I think him and Braulio kind of head up the UK, but I think Victor's
younger brother. Yeah, I'm talking about. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. He's not as big, but he was certainly back when he was competing, like super athletic, would do like flying shit. So.
Yeah, he's very much that guy for sure. Yeah. Sure.
And was he out there just like networking and hanging out with the boys, or was he actually out there like, I'm trying to establish if this oil wrestling is like a thing that people travel out to compete in, or whether it's just like a Turkish thing that you guys just interrupted?
It was, you know what? It was just fun with the lads. It's just like because I'm taking them into a realm where like culturally, it's a very like respectful. If you're a Turkish oil wrestler and you compete in that competition, which is pretty sure the oldest sporting competition in the world, if I'm not wrong, goes back hundreds and hundreds of years to where it all started. I think it was in the Balkan region. Spoke about it a lot in the B Team vlog and the one that I did as well. But it's they just went there for a bit of fun. And if you're in the sport, you're very well respected. So you can't really just rock up and compete like that. Although like they wanted to, but we definitely sorted out a way to create a very good experience, not only for content for the boys, and also got like a real dealo of what the actual sport is, how you actually do it. And they got to spar with some of the big boys. So it was good.
And how did they get on, mate?
Yeah, good. Like good.
They
like,
do all right, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Like Craig and Luke Rockhold, they're fucking sick athletes, 100%. Luke Rockhold is just fucking mental. Like, when I mean mental, I mean like he's a competitor, like, you know? Like, you can't fight in the UFC and you can't like want to punch someone in the face consistently and not be very competitive. So he's gone now. He's like, I'm going to go there, man. I'm going to fuck shit up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to duck him. Like, all that. So very entertaining to watch, you know? So like, they kind of went with that energy. And yeah, of course, they were great. They were very good. They're very good.
It's grappling at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, although I assume you're not allowed to footlock in Turkish oil wrestling, right?
No. I think Craig did it for banter a few times, but like, it's just, I guess, just being Craig, I guess, But yeah, no, it was really good. It was a lot of fun. The whole squad they had out there was really good. I got to show them parts of Turkey, which was good. I got to know them a bit better. Then we also hung out in Vegas again. It was great. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Did you make it to CJI in the end? Were you out there watching? Yeah. Yeah,
I was there courtside. I was there like right by the mats, which was really good because now they showed me a lot of love. I did a lot for them in Turkey, and they showed me the same hospitality. Seth, Craig's business partner, the guy that looks after like B team and everything, absolute fucking legend.
Yeah, we got Seth coming on, mate. I think so.
Yeah, Seth's absolute legend, real nice guy, real nice family guy, and yeah, like create a nice little bond with them. And I know I can, message them whenever. And I'm looking forward to go to Austin again. I went in 2021 once, and I want to go again for sure. Yeah, I want to go again for sure. But yeah, it was real good.
Come out with us, mate. We're going out in March, end of March.
Oh yeah, sick.
Yeah, we're going out for 2 weeks.
Nice, wicked. In Austin, yeah.
Yeah. Going out to train with Dima.
Oh, sick, wicked.
Danny's wormed his way into a 5K prize blue belt competition up in Manchester.
Nice. Let's go.
Yeah, man. So we were telling Dima about it when he was on the podcast, and he was like, boys, like, come out and let's do your camp. And we're like, all right, sweet.
100%. Yeah, he's a good coach, isn't he? I've seen him coach.
Oh, mate. He knows his stuff, mate. He lives and breathes it, and he's really good at getting across what he's trying to his points. He's really precise in what he's trying to say, and he's so clear in what he's saying. That's what I really like. There's no like faff. It's like, this is what you're going to do. If you do this, it's going to break his leg. Simple.
Very he's German, right? Is he German?
Yeah, German. Yeah,
very German, but it's very German, isn't it? It's like Germans are like, do you want to go to lunch? And if they don't want to go, they're like, no.
They don't make an excuse. It's like, no.
Nah.
It's like Owen Jones said, though, mate, the Germans know how to run a good camp. So it's like, okay, so I take that how you will. But
for sure.
Get it done.
Yeah.
Were you the sort of person who watched Jiu-Jitsu much before CGI? I know there's almost like a sort of parody of Jiu-Jitsu guys where we just don't watch Jiu-Jitsu despite doing it. Are you one of those? Were you watching it much before?
I do, but I don't watch the competitions in a way where like I love doing the sport, innit? And I'm a competitor as well. I played somewhat decent level football. I played academy level in Turkey. I played non-league in UK and Australia and whatnot. So for me, jiu-jitsu was one of those ones where like, yeah, I'm competitive, but I don't want to take it too serious. I realize when I take things too serious, I care about it too much. And when I care about it too much, it affects my performance. So like I've done loads of jiu-jitsu competitions and I've won gold in gi, and people are like, how long did you train? I said, I took last week off and I just came in and get some rolls in. And I'm like, I'm not getting paid for this. This isn't my career. So I'm having a good time. So my attitude towards watching jiu-jitsu, I watch it when it's very exciting and if it's people that I genuinely like to watch. But in general, I don't go sitting down watching hours of content personally. Because I just don't learn like that. I learn when I'm asking someone in person or when we're rolling with them and picking up stuff like that. I was the same at school, man. I used to get kicked out of class because I couldn't fucking focus, I just was not that guy, bruv. So yeah, I'm not a guy with loads of modules on my computer and stuff, so I don't really watch it like that, no.
Yeah, no, fair.
I love the sport, yeah. I love the sport.
Yeah, well, I was curious, mate, because most people we speak to are the same, to be fair, and Danny and I are no different.
I'm pretty much the same, mate. Exactly the same.
For sure. And obviously CGI was a little bit different, mate. And obviously I'm very aware of the success you've had with your business and your knowledge of marketing things and creating interest and that type of thing. So I'm just interested on your take regarding CGI and whether you think that's like the ticket for BJJ to potentially be mainstream at some point.
Yeah, man. Well, I would say that's probably the closest thing I've seen because when I was there, I enjoyed every fucking fight. Mm-hmm. And I've never seen that. So like that was the fight between what was his name? One of the brothers. Oh my god.
Oh, Caden.
Yeah, Caden and and the Tackett fight. That was so fucking exciting, bruv. It felt like a UFC title fight.
Yeah, it was so good, wasn't it?
And I was gutted because I was like, raw, these two, like they both deserve the money. Like they're unbelievable. They went at it like no tomorrow, and it was entertaining as fuck. And I absolutely loved it for that reason. Is it the way forward? It's definitely the closest thing I've ever seen. And when I was there, I just like the whole concept of one mat. I don't understand. I don't like, but I couldn't focus in school, innit? How am I going to focus with 12 mats?
No, I agree though. It's like the pinnacle, like ADCC sometimes. Like it's the pinnacle of the sport, and you got 6 mats or something going at the same time. Yeah. It's like it's no real focus. You know, they're the best of the best. They should have like at least the eyes on them. Even if you're up and coming and you're not the biggest name, you can kind of prove yourself as a bigger name. But if you're having a really good fight and there's 6 mats and there's only 20,000 people there, it's so watered down, isn't it? Yeah. You're not really watching anything. You're flicking between mats. You're looking. You're not that interested. With CGI, you focus on you.
Yeah. The thing is as well. Listen, I'm like. I like competing because I like to entertain and I like to have fun, whether the camera is on when I'm doing content, whether we're on a podcast, I like to bring that sort of energy. So if I put myself in their position as an athlete's position and I'm training for hours a fucking day, and then you put me in front of thousands of people or an audience, but I want everyone looking at me there and then. And when I know that, I'm going to be putting on a bigger show. So if anything, I think it enhances athletes' performance, which therefore is a better, more entertaining sport to watch, which means there's more people that are going to be tuning in and focusing on what they're actually doing instead of looking at 6 mats, you know? And at the end of the day, it's a sport, but it's entertainment, isn't it? People only care about what sell tickets, realistically, you know? So, yeah, that's why I like it. And I also love the way the mats were set up was really cool. It was almost like gladiators just going at it, you know? Like it's kind of, they're at the bottom and it's sunk in, you know? Like that's what it felt like from where we were sitting and the crowd being just slightly above. That's I really liked that. I thought it was cool. Yeah,
it was really good. It was the best, wasn't it, really? I don't think anything's compared to it. And this CGI 2 looks even better, to be honest. I quite like the whole quintet thing, mate, in teams and stuff like that. That'll be sick, mate. Rivalries will get going. They'll be bitching at each other. It's going to be class. It's going to be so good, mate. Mate, if I can go, if I can blag a way to get there, then yeah, I'll definitely be there, mate. I think like if they can get New Wave there as well, if they can actually get New Wave there, it'll be fucking, it'll be silly, won't it? Because that rivalry, mate, is naughty, isn't it?
That would be unreal. But the problem is, if it's Craig's platform, B Team's platform, then there's probably going to be something like, I'm bringing views for this and that. But I don't know. But like realistically, it's just great for the sport.
That's what I think. Like what they're going to do if CGI keeps blowing up, and anyone who trains on a new wave, then what they're never going to do it. If I can see CGI being way bigger than ADCC eventually.
Yeah.
If ADCC don't change, it'll kill it. CGI will kill it because it's so much better to watch. So if they do it every year, it's just going to get bigger and bigger. It's going to be way more important to go to CGI, earn more money with a better event. So New Wave will have to come across, because if they don't, they're just going to be left behind. No one gives a fuck then about ADCC.
Yeah, I think if you think about like the way the sport is growing and how jiu-jitsu is like how big it is now and how many kids are doing it now and the speed it's growing at. If CGI is popping now, then realistically, it most likely will become more popular than what the old school, I guess the top used to go to ADCC. If kids are now watching CGI more because it's more entertaining and they're marketing better, then it's probably quite naturally gonna potentially take over.
Yeah,
I guess you never know. You know, there's always going to be some sort of historical advantage because all the big names still support ADCC and whatnot. I think they're both great, like whatever, innit? Just more jiu-jitsu, I guess, you know?
Yeah. I think it's unlikely to go head to head again. I think that was just sort of a one-time deal just to prove a point.
Yeah.
So I think people will probably still do ADCC and CJI.
Yeah, I hope so, mate. I hope it but I think ADCC, if they want to be the top organization, they're going to have to change some things because of how good Craig's made CJI.
Yeah.
That's just my
opinion. But I agree though, because I think that the prestige and the amount of coaches that are Hall of Famers that now have students who are competing at a top level, I think there's always going to be an interest. But I think from a non-jiu-jitsu spectator perspective, I just can't see people watching ADCC, but I can see them watching CJI if they get that right. Yeah. And, the question was about mainstream, right?
Yeah. You got to think when did you guys start jiu-jitsu?
I've been in and out for about 20 years, mate. So I did it before it was cool, and when it was literally in a fucking garage somewhere.
Okay. Okay, let's say you did it before it was cool, yeah? And who did you want to be like in jiu-jitsu, right? Like, who did you want to be like? Is there anyone?
Yeah. To be fair, the back then it was probably like Braulio Estima was probably the person.
It's like one name. It's like one or two names, right? Yeah. So like, it's not like football. Oh, there's the Ronaldo, the cool lifestyle of they get cars, they get women, they get this, they got money. Jiu-jitsu was not like that. So even me, when I started, like they were like, which jiu-jitsu athlete? I was like, I don't give a fuck about no jiu-jitsu athlete. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I just want to choke someone out, like, I don't know. Until I really got to understand the sport, then I loved watching the Gracies, the this, B team and that. And then I got a whole different respect for everyone in the sport. But like initially, there wasn't anything cool or from a marketing standpoint that stood out like things do now. So you almost have to keep up with that momentum because just like anything, everything changes and evolves. So what I think the new generation, the boys that are competing now, from content to selling to having fun, is completely changing from what I've seen since I started. And from a marketing perspective and someone that runs a business, that's smarter, because at the end of the day, if there's more money, if there's more people watching, it's better for the sport and people that even want to get involved, So that's what makes sense to me. Like,
yeah, no, it's a really good point, actually. And when I say Braulio, it was purely from a skill perspective. I didn't want to live Braulio's life. I just wanted to be as good as Braulio. Yeah. And I think when I did it, I kind of shoehorned in from doing like old school cage fighting and MMA and stuff. So I was looking at the UFC guys, if anyone, in regard to kind of who I wanted to be. But not that I ever took it that seriously, don't get me wrong, mate. But I think it's a really good point that actually as you get more and more kids coming through, you need to create like superstars, don't you? So proper role models that kids want to gravitate towards to, and then you give it 10 years and then suddenly you've got your kind of superstars.
Yeah.
Well, it's true. Like my lad loves fucking Nicky Rod. Like every time Nicky's like, he's a beast, dad, isn't he? He's a beast. Look at him. And he just loves him. He's just an animal, isn't he? So he's just like, every time he sees him like rolling or whatever, he's like, oh, is that Nicky Rod? I'm like, no, mate, it's not.
He's, you know what? He's also the nicest guy, man. He was my first ever guest on my podcast.
Was he?
Yeah, and I got to hang out with him in New York. First time I was like, I just got my blue belt, and I think he just rocked the world at ADCC. You know that year where he just like
mauled everyone?
Yeah. And I was like, I just hit like 100,000 followers on Instagram and I'm kind of on this hype. And I was in New York visiting. I was like, I'm just going to DM him. I was like, yo, how much for a 1-to-1? I knew he had that hustler mentality. So he replied straight away, like $150 or something, $150 or $120. I was like, yeah, let's go. I've never done wrestling. And I went and did like, it was an hour session, but he went way over. We hung out. He showed me some wrestling stuff. And then he was like, what are you doing now? And I was like, I'm just going to go off. I'm going to go to an NBA game tonight. And he was like, I'm doing Danaher's class. Do you want to come with me? And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I want to go. And so he invited me to Danaher's class and I went and done Danaher's class with him. And so he's not only is he an animal, he's actually like the nicest guy. And I've got mad respect for him because work rate, he's a family man, and he's a good guy. He's good. They're all pretty sound, but like I really like.
In fairness, like we had Jay come to Plymouth, and he come on the podcast, and I took him round and showed him around Plymouth for the day, and come and done a seminar and stuff, mate. And he was such a nice lad as well.
Yeah, he is.
He's such a nice kid, mate. He's a legend. He was.
Yeah. They're good.
Yeah, just nice people, mate. Nice, normal people, isn't it? Like, they're just good at jiu-jitsu. Do you know what I mean? They're just nice, normal people.
Don't you find it weird in jiu-jitsu, yeah? You either get like the real nice ones, yeah? You get the real nice ones. This is my theory. You get the real nice ones that are like, don't have to feel like they need to prove a point. Like, they're competitive, but they don't have to feel like they need to prove a point. Mm-hmm. But then you get the other ones where they're like, yeah, you didn't get picked for the football team at school, innit?
Oh, mate.
So like you're coming to take my ankle off. I can feel it the way you look. You know when someone calls you out like, "Oh, you free next round?" And you're like, "You've been sitting down for 2 rounds, you piece of shit." You know what?
Mate, I've said on this podcast a few times, mate, the nerds rule the world, mate, in jiu-jitsu, don't they? They're the people that didn't get picked for football. They're the fucking not sporty, probably not fucking liked, mate, you know? And then they're just focused in on jiu-jitsu, and now they're killers, mate, and then they're just fucking ruining everyone back, aren't they?
Bro,
you know what I mean?
Nerds.
If you're a normal lad going into a gym, they're like, yeah, I'm getting this motherfucker. He would have bullied me at school.
Yo, nerds are ruining everything. I've got a friend that's a comedian, and he's got this piece where he's like, nerds ruin everything. Like absolutely everything, because now everything with technology, algorithms and whatnot, all they do is when nerds figure out an algorithm, that's why you got like the top YouTubers and shit are just like nerds. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but like, you know, if you're like a vibes guy, I'm a vibes guy, innit? Like, I can't, like, I understand algorithms, but like not to the extent where like it needs to be natural for me to do, right? But whereas nerds are just taking over the world with this stuff, innit? And he's got a real funny piece on it. It just cracks me up. And it's so accurate, and it's exactly the same in jiu-jitsu, just like you said.
Yeah, it's exactly it, mate. When I first went, I was really similar to you, mate. So I played football and then played to an all right standard as well, like semi-pro, but in the Southwest, and got injured. Went into jiu-jitsu, mate, and I was sat there like when I first started, and I was just like, fucking hell, man. Like, this is weird. And then I thought I'd be all right as well. You know what I mean? I was a big boy. I was like, oh, I'm going to be fine. And then I'd get like a 60 kilo fucking lad who looked like he worked at Tesco's and couldn't push a trolley, absolutely ripped my limbs off. And I was like, fucking hell, this is it. And you know, I need to learn how to do this.
I won't lie though. What in the sport itself, and what attracts me and why I like to train at Roger Gracie's place is like, the Brazilians, if you notice, what I've noticed, right? This is just me thinking out loud, right? So anyone listening to this, they're going to be like, oh, this guy's chatting shit. If you say that, I don't give a fuck. But what I've realized is the old school Brazilians that do jiu-jitsu, yeah, they actually like to fight. So like, they're about it, yeah? They're about it. And I like that because they're like, they'll rock up on like other people's gyms and they'll call each other out and they'll fight it out, like, whether it's gi or no gi and whatnot.
Yeah.
Whereas the nerds are very, 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 very good at like leg locks.
Yeah.
I've got no problem with that, but I just like watching people go at it like fucking gorillas, you know, compared to like leg locks. Yes, of course they're amazing. But like if you compared someone pulling guard at CGI compared to the wrestlers just going at it, it's just cool as fuck. Because I guess in a street fight, I don't know, someone's going to punch you in the face if they pull guard, I guess, you know. But like, I say that, but I pull guard in a gi. But but yeah, I just realized culturally, I was like the old school Brazilians, and that's why I like to like go train with like Roger's place, training with Roger and those guys. They're just going at it, mate.
Yeah.
Not avoiding rolls, and it's fucking great. It's fucking great, yeah.
Yeah, they just don't care, mate, do they? You see those old school videos and that of like gym storming and that. Like they just fucking, they had a superpower, mate, and they just went and fucked everyone up.
They're just passionate people, mate. They're just passionate people. I think even if you see like the coaches at comps and stuff, they're just wild. I reffed like a local show like years ago. I think it was only a purple belt, and one of the local Brazilians was just giving me shit, man. For like every call, I just put the pressure on me like he was in mount somehow from the sideline, mate. And it was horrendous, but it's just that passion, mate. So you're right, man. They just
and you know what? I've like Mauricio Gomez, Roger's dad, like has told me like some stories in it, and like he's fucking ledge. And they're just competitive. And I remember once he said to me, I was like, so like, you know, when you're like training Roger and that when he was younger and that, what was it like? He goes, Diren, I would give seminar. He goes, he wouldn't let Roger leave until he tapped everyone.
Fucking
That's what he said to me. He said,
that's crazy, isn't it?
he said, yeah, he wasn't allowed to leave until he got everyone. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, I need to get him on my podcast. I was like, because he has some stories, like when he first went to Birmingham, security guards coming to do jiu-jitsu, like big dudes, and trying to like take him out, and him just like mashing him up on the mats. And then like he's gained so much respect from all the security guards in Birmingham. Every time he went out, it was like great for him and stuff. Like he's got some cool stories.
Yeah, mate. We all know here how fucking useful jiu-jitsu is, mate. Like, don't really matter if you've never done jiu-jitsu, but you're big and strong. It's kind of irrelevant, really, isn't it? You know, if you're a 90-kilo lad, mate, fighting a 120-kilo lad, and you're a blue belt, even, you're fucking them up. Let alone a black belt, whatever. You know, it's like a fucking child, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Mate, the training in London's tough, man. I sometimes work up in Moorgate, so I train with Junyao. You've probably met him at HQ, right? The big, big
he's
dude.
my guy. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
So I trained with him for a bit, man, and I don't know if he hypothesized once that it's because he's in the city. So he's like, the city boys are just all competitive. They're all trying to stay in shape. They're all big lads. But whenever I go to London and train, man, like it's probably because I'm an outsider as well. And probably because we're like half speed in the Southwest with everything. But fuck me, they put a paste on you, mate. They fucking beat you up, man. It's tough training.
And he if you notice, if two people are going at it and he'll try to pump them up, he'll literally be screaming like, hey, hey. So he's like,
does he?
I remember one time, like I was competing and he was there, and the way he's screaming, he's like, triangle, triangle, triangle. I'm like, I'm telling him what I'm gonna do, bruv. But like, so passionate, man. I love him. He's good. He's a good guy.
Yeah, man, but he's just did the Urals, mate, and even watching him compete, mate, he does like a big gorilla stomp as he comes onto the mat, and he's just
a big old dude.
Yeah, when he charges in, they get hold of somebody, you're like, oh, fuck that.
Rather them than me, mate.
Big guy, very strong as well. Yeah.
Mate, I hear like good things about HQ. I've not been down to HQ, mate. But tell us about how you got into training then, mate. Because obviously you said football lads. Obviously you were out in Oz for a bit, and Bali and wherever else you were. Yeah. I mean, when was your what was your first like exposure to jiu-jitsu? When did you first hear that it was even a thing? And then tell us if you can remember what that sort of entry into the sport was like.
Bro, my first experience in jiu-jitsu was I was 19 years old. And I'm so fucking angry that I didn't carry on. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm so angry.
I would be as well. Yeah. I wish. On.
Yeah. And it was because I played football. I was playing football in Australia. I was traveling in Australia. And the fitness first I was working at, there was an MMA fighter called Jesh, right? Absolute legend. And he was like, why don't you come roll with us one day? I was like, bro, I play football. I can't be getting injured and shit. I've got a game. And he goes, just come roll. So I trained with him like once a week for like 3-4 weeks. And I didn't think anything of it. But he taught me how to do a Kimura and taught me some real basic stuff about it. He was a brown belt at the time. And that was my first exposure like to jiu-jitsu. But again, I didn't even think about getting good at it because I was just like, nah, I'm chasing my football dream. I'm playing football, jiu-jitsu, nah, not me, whatever. And then 2017, I tore my plantar fascia. I was playing football in Australia. I was getting paid like $300-400 a week or something like that. And for me, it was like, I'm getting paid. I'm PTing in Australia. I'm kind of living my best life. I'm 25 or something. I was like buzzing. And then after I got injured. And then after I got injured, I was kind of done with Australia. And after I was done with Australia, I was like, I'm going traveling. This is where me and James Smith kind of linked up together in Oz. And we started making content together. We're just having a load of love. And then Smith started jiu-jitsu, right? And he like fell in love with it. But at that point, I was like, I went and did a few sessions. I was like, I've done a couple. I know how to hip escape and fucking typical white belt gym bros just fucking going at it, which what me and Smith just did. And we look back at it and we speak about it sometimes. We're like, yeah, we can understand why no one wanted to train with us. Because we were strong, because we come from a sporting background and we banged gym and we were fit and competitive. So like, why is that purple belt avoiding me? Why is that guy avoiding me? And now I get it, Yeah. But and then Smith started doing a lot of jiu-jitsu, and then he started, and then we left Australia together and lived in Bali for like 3-4 months in the same room and shared room together. We used to do videos together. We used to train together. So then me and him really started training a lot of jiu-jitsu every day, like 3 hours a day or something. I love striking. I do love striking as well. So I'd go do some striking, and then I'll do jiu-jitsu class. Smith was very just jiu-jitsu. I would throw some hands and then go jiu-jitsu. And then from there, it kind of took off. And then when I came back to London after traveling and everything, we came back together to the UK before that stuff kind of blew up online, or as they were blowing up. And I had to go back with mum and dad, live with them. I had no fucking money, bro. I had nothing. So, and when I was living with them, there wasn't really any gyms around Tottenham, North London. Smith was living in Fulham, so he started training at Gracie, Baha, Fulham. And then I would go whenever I could. But then when I moved to Southwest, I really started going into it again. And then I got my blue belt, and then COVID hit. And then, we were secret training, but like only a couple of us. And then, that was how I really got exposed to it. And then it was kind of, when I was training in Wandsworth at a gym for a little bit, where I got my blue belt, one of the black belt knew Roger Gracie and trained at Rogers. He was like, why don't you come with me one day to their comp class? And I went one day, and I was like, holy fucking shit. I was like, that guy's a goat. He rolled with me, beat the shit out of me. And I was like, he's the Ronaldo of the sport. Why the fuck am I training there? I'm not too far from there. If I'm going to do anything, that's why the sport is amazing. You can actually train. Like, if you're a football fan, when can you train with Ronaldo? You can't.
No, you can't.
But whereas if you're into jiu-jitsu and you can go to some gyms, like, you can train with the best. You can potentially train with Roger. You can potentially train with Craig. You can train with Gordon Ryan, whatever. So like, I instantly made the decision, and I went to I moved to Roger Gracie straight away. And then kind of from there, I'm there at least twice a week minimum. And then if I'm really busy throughout the week, I try to hit up clubs wherever I'm working and whatnot. But that's how it kind of took off. And now I'm loving it. I just got to do more competitions this year, which I'm going to do. Like Purple Belt, I need to do more comps. But that's how I got exposed to it. And I fucking love it. It's great.
Yeah, mate. No, like I say, I've been in and out for years, mate, and it's always the scene in the Southwest hasn't always been brilliant, to be fair, but it's really picked up in the last probably the last 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years. So it's good to be back in it, like, a lot more. It's really good fun, man.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's great. It's good. It's good physically, obviously, but also mentally as well. It's a nice place to go. Strip that ego away a little bit. Get beat up people, right? In a safe manner, I guess. You know what I mean? It's not like you can go hard in jiu-jitsu, but like if you go that hard with striking, someone's getting injured. So
that's what's amazing about it. You can do it every day as hard as you want, pretty much, and you're fine. You know what I mean? You're safe as long as you tap. As long as you just check your ego, they got you in something, you just fucking tap. You're fine. You know what I mean?
That's
you can go again.
Exactly. Like, you can go at it with your best mate as hard as you can, and it's fine, and it's okay.
Yeah, and as long as we all know, like, most people are good training partners as well. So if they get something, they don't rip your arm off. You know what I mean? They just kind of leave it. If you're going to be a dick and not tap, sometimes it's your own fault if you get injured. But other than that, most people are decent. And even if they are, if people are not tapping, most people don't rip it off, mate. Not in training. They just leave it, don't they? They go, mate, you should have tapped there. Yeah. Stop being a fucking bell end and just tap.
Yeah, injury rates are low, man. Like when you compare it to other sport like football, for example.
I got fucked up in football.
Much safer.
I got fucked up. I broke my wrist. I broke my arm. I dislocated my shoulder 7 times. I had surgery. I've done my knee. I tore my VMO. Mate, by the time I was 29, I was wrecked. You know what I mean? I was wrecked. You know, and then like I've come into jiu-jitsu, touch wood, and I've had like a bit of sore ribs, staph a few times. Other than that, I'm all right, you know?
But, yeah, I mean, I guess the majority of injuries, they come from white belts, innit? Majority.
Yeah.
That's why I like
motherfuckers.
Dangerous motherfuckers.
I'm training with a white belt and I can see that even, because it's normal, they get nervous sometimes when they're sparring with a high belt, you know? Instantly, I'm just pulling them in or taking them down instantly. I'm like not risking, like, and it's weird because you don't want to be a dick, but you also don't want to be too nice. If you're too nice, that's when you get fucking injured. Yeah. That's what I realized.
Yeah, so I was literally talking about this the other day. Like, the only times I've ever even been in a situation where I've really felt like I was compromised to be injured was me being nice on a big white belt, where I've been like letting him like move a little bit and he's just fucking trying to wreck me. And then next time, like I learned that quite quickly. You know, even when I was a white belt, like when I felt like I was quite a good white belt, like ready for my blue belt, for example, and then you get another white belt come in, there's like white belt versus white belt vibes, you know? And then like, but you're like way better, you know what I mean? So then they like, they let them work a little bit and then they think they actually can fuck you up.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, there you go.
Big white belt, I'm just like, come here, bruv. Straight fucking through him or like pulling guard and then just have some fun from there.
Sweep, get on top and control, mate. I say it.
Then they start like panicking and they start breathing in your ear like
sweating fucking everywhere.
Yeah. No, man. It's good.
Yeah, it's fucking funny, isn't it?
So tell us about your competition history, mate. You said you want to do a few more and you've done a few. Like how have you how have you done in comps? How have you found that?
I love comps, but I won't lie. This gone year, I haven't done many, and I was just too busy, and I was trying to figure out shit in my personal life, business wise, a few adaptations, and I didn't have the energy to put time into it because, like, I'm not gonna. I hated basically while I was that busy. I didn't like the idea of where I was going to kind of. Fill up my cup and relax. I have to now calculate what I should do best to get ready for the next comp. But now I've got a bit more time and a bit more space. So now I'm going to do more. I've got a few comps coming up in the next few months. But before that, I've done loads at Blue. I've got like 3-4 golds at Blue. Like All-Stars, lots of random opens. I did that, surprised myself, surprised a lot of people. What I realized is I actually like going at it in front of a crowd. I like that more than training. At training, there is sometimes the element I've realized where I can be a bit too nice, you know? So, and when I mean nice, I feel like, I don't know, you don't want to be you can really like, if you're fighting against someone you don't know, you can really use your strength as well as your skill set. Yeah. And then you don't feel, not guilt, but it's just easier to unleash that kind of dog in you. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
So like, unless at training, the other guy is your mentality and then you can both go at it and it's all good. But you know, sometimes you go at training and the other guy's like, well, why do you go so hard, man? And then you're like, but you just came with that energy. So now like all that shit, whereas comps, you don't get that. So I've really enjoyed that part. So, which is why I'm going to do more. I got one in 2 weeks. I got another one, I think another week after that. So I'll do loads this year. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And have you done any of the bigger tournaments like the Euros or the Worlds or anything, or has it just been mostly regional events?
No, I've done regional events. I've done like a London Open, got second place once. Was it London Open at Crystal Palace? Yeah, that was like a couple of years ago. And then no Europeans. A lot of the team they're in Europe now. That and then nothing like that yet. But like I don't know what you guys think about this, but I'm 32 now. I didn't realize I could do masters.
Mate, I'm 42. I'm like, it's like Masters 3 or 4 for me, mate. It's a dream.
I've just turned 35, so I'm in Masters 2, mate. I'm fancying a bit of that.
So I'm like, do I go Masters? I'm like, do I go Masters or do I do adult? I'm like, if I go Masters, I feel like there's going to be a load of guys on fucking TRT. Yeah.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, mate. It's a difficult one, mate. It's a difficult one.
Or you got adult where there's just a bunch of hungry fucking kids that want to be fucking Craig Jones or Gordon Ryan. So like,
Dude, these days, probably a lot of hungry kids still on TRT as well, mate. You know what I mean? So you're fucked either way.
yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I'll see. I'm doing one in Bournemouth in the next 2-3 weeks. And then another one. I think London Opens one's after that. I haven't signed up for that one yet, but I think I'll do it. I don't like to overthink it, you know. I see people warming up and like, and I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not getting paid for this. So I'm going to have my breakfast. I ain't cutting weight. I'm going to go there. And then, but all the golds I got actually were all super heavy. And I was going in at like 93 kilos and they were like 100 plus.
You're just bullying the fat kids, mate. You know, the ones that can't move, you know. you know what I'm on about, don't you? You see them, mate. The super heavies that just fucking barrel in 140 kilos, mate. You push them over and just lay there.
Bro, some of them, though, they get top pressure. I'm just like, holy fuck.
Mate, you can't let them on top, mate. You can't let them on top, ever. You know what I mean? You just got to do whatever you can. You scramble, you get out there. You know what it's like in the gym. You get the big boy, you see him and he looks at you, you think, oh, I can't be asked for you on top of me, mate. Just
exactly, yeah. But I'm going to see if I can cut down to like 91 kilos, so I can do like a 94 category. I've never done it, so I want to test it.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go down to.
Yeah,
that's my 91.
What belt are you?
Blue.
Oh, okay, we'll see you next year then.
Okay. Yeah, nah, it's all good, mate. I just I'm pretty committed to my jiu-jitsu at the moment. I'm enjoying it, mate. So
yeah, good.
Hopefully it just
nice.
It's that buzz, isn't it? But I always like, I don't know about you, I was always like a shit trainer when I played football, and I enjoyed football, but I can't ever wait to train jiu-jitsu. Like I'm like every day I'm like, right, I'm not missing class. Yeah. Whereas without football, I could take it and leave it like completely. Whereas jiu-jitsu, I'm always like, I'm 2.5 years in, mate, and I'm still like as if it was my fucking first 6 months.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. You know what? I do love it, and I was like that. I still am like that, but I've tried to be smarter with it now because I've realized when you're training so much, and if you're never feeling fresh, it's really hard to execute things that you're trying to learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
So I'm like, okay, I feel tough because all these black belts are rolling with me and they're all going at it and I'm surviving or whatever. But then I'm like, yeah, but am I executing anything I've learned? I'm like, you're now tough, but now you can't actually fucking throw us up. So I'm like, it doesn't feel like I'm learning anything. So now I've actually turned it down where like, if I go into the gym, I'm going to do 2 hours on that day, go hard, learn, spar, take a break the next day, go in the weights room, do some maintenance, then another jiu-jitsu session after that. So like find a better balance where I'm actually executing the things that I'm learning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, mate, I completely get it. If I'm training too much, like at too high of an intensity, I feel like I'm just going through the motions a little bit. And I always feel like, I don't know about you, but with jiu-jitsu, I need to, after the sessions or whatever, like I just think about what I was doing in the jiu-jitsu sessions. And if I'm training too much, I'm too fatigued to think about what I'm doing. Exactly. So sometimes I find like if I am a bit fresher, I'm able to go away, think about it, like think, how the fuck did he catch me with that Kimura today? Or how did he catch me with that Darce? Like, what did I not do? Like, and then I just think about like those, like I kind of troubleshoot it in my head. But if I'm training too much and I'm knackered, like a couple of times this week, I'm trying to like ramp up my training again. I've just been fucked, mate. I've just been like going home, showering, dying, sleeping, not even remembering what's happened in the session.
Yeah. You got to find the balance. You got to find the balance for sure.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember who said this recently, but someone was talking about the kind of ratio of higher and lower belts that you should be rolling with.
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
It might have been Josh Saunders, I think, maybe talking about it. I can't remember. But he was saying that you want to do maybe just like, I don't know, maybe 10, 20% where you're rolling with people better than you, where you're kind of getting tested, like you say, you're getting a bit tough, but then the majority of your roll should be people, not like white belts, but people that you can have your way with a little bit and try stuff on. I
think Danaher said that on a post he did a couple of years ago. And I think that's where most people got that from. Danaher got that, said something like that. But then on top of that, from what I've seen, And like, I look at, say, Roger Gracie, right? When he came to England, when he was a world champion and all the championships he won, there was a big part of his life, I'm pretty sure he was living in London. And there wasn't many black belts. He had the academy, right? So he's training with a lot of white belts, a lot of blue belts, I think a lot of blue belts and purples. And so like, I know there's people that say, "Oh, Roger Gracie's jiu-jitsu is simple," and like it's not. I wouldn't call it simple. I feel like people that don't understand jiu-jitsu say it's simple, but like he obviously got very good at executing subs with a good balance of having good rolls and executing and practicing things with people that are kind of lower belts than him, right? And he's obviously very fucking successful in the sport. And it sounds like from what Danaher said, Gordon Ryan did the same, right? And anyone that is really good tends to do that, which is why sometimes, like when I go to gyms where I know everyone and the higher belts are like calling me over and stuff, I'm like, yeah, this is great. But that's why I like to go to other gyms and I'm like, yo, blue belt, come here.
Yeah, mate, I get it completely. I'm like it in our club, you know what I mean? I'm like it in our club, aren't we? We're like, we got a coach and like his son who are like fucking unbelievable. But I don't feel like sometimes when you're rolling with them that I get much out of it in the end. I'm just defending. I'm just like, you know what I mean? I feel like if I was to practice, I don't know, an anaconda that I've been working on, I'm never going to get it on them. So it's like, it feels like if I was to roll just with them all the time, you're going to get better over time, but I'm not going to be able to refine any sort of attacking threat on anyone. You know what I mean? You're going to end up just being really good defensively and shit everywhere else.
Yeah. I mean, although it's a great advantage, I won't lie, during COVID, I was training with a big 6'5", 120 kilo black belt.
That sounds banging, mate.
I just got my blue belt. Yeah. And I was rolling with him 2 hours a day. Yeah. And I won't lie, like it was very hard to tap me after that because I was getting getting very good at defending and I was getting very comfortable in very shitty positions. But then you have to make sure, which I've made mistakes of, being too relaxed in uncomfortable positions.
That's literally what we talked about the other day.
So it's a fucking mental battle with yourself where you're like, don't be a dickhead, but be comfortable in it. But like also don't be too relaxed, get the fuck out. So like finding that balance is weird. And I guess that's why jiu-jitsu is great because you're always having these mental battles in your head and you're trying to calculate what you should do and what you shouldn't do and when you should expose yourself and when you shouldn't. But yeah, so I experienced that and I realized, yeah, knowing how to defend against big boys is definitely a big advantage. But then you also got to like fucking go at it at the right time as well and like make yourself a little bit more vulnerable at times, you know what I mean? So yeah.
You got to give up that position, haven't you? Sometimes like, you know, you've got to go for it. You've got to give your backup maybe or give up a shitter position or a scramble just to try and get out, you know, because I was really guilty of this. I got hard to sub, but like my coach said at the time, he was like, you're getting hard to sub, but like you're just in a defensive cycle constantly. I'm just gonna rack up points after points after points. If we was doing this on points, mate, it'd be like fucking 50-0. You know? Yeah. So it's like, you still probably sub me, but it's not about subbing me. It's like you're just getting beat. You know, it's no different really. It's no different, is it? You know, if you're just going to lay there and just go into your defensive positions. You know, that Pritt Mikkelsen talks about. You know, his whole jiu-jitsu is just being defensive and worrying about, you know, not getting caught with stuff like that. But like when I look at his stuff, I really like it, but it's like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy in that defensive position all the time. I want to be the guy who's fucking attacking you. You know, I want to be the one who's like in those dominant positions through good jiu-jitsu, through sweeping, through, you know, being dominant. I think the best people are the ones who like force their will on you, you know? Like you probably like it with Hodger. Like they don't accept shit positions, mate. They just don't accept it. They're like, no, I'm not fucking going there, mate. And then they just bang. If they're doing a knee cut, mate, they're through.
Oh yeah. They're not giving any points.
No, they don't fuck around.
No, they don't fuck around. And I think though, like after a while, like when you start having a better understanding of jiu-jitsu and like once you're like, I feel like it kind of happens when you're like a good blue belt. I feel like slowly you kind of like, I'm a purple belt. I've been a purple now for nearly 2 years now. And like, I still in my head, like when someone goes, what's your game? I'm like, I don't really fucking know, bro. I still don't know. Like, I'm still trying to figure it out because there's so much. And after you get a good base of knowledge of jiu-jitsu, what it is, you have to take advice. But I really think you need to start being more confident in what you know is good for you, your body type, where you're strong, how long, like someone can teach you something and they'll be like, no, you need to do this. But I'm like, yeah, I get you. But if I think of it from an anatomy standpoint, your limbs are longer there, which is why it's more comfortable for you. But my base is stronger. So that's not the best bet for me, you know? So like, which is why I think it's good listening, but I don't think it's always good to take other people's advice. Just like in life, innit? You know, when you're like, I went full Brazilian, innit? Jiu-jitsu is like life, brother, you know? You have to learn, take advice, but like make decisions yourself. I think that's important. And I'm starting to do that more. Like I'm taking advice, but I'm like, no, Diren, you're good at life, innit? You could do the same in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Do you think that's the PT in you though, mate? Because I find that all the time. Like we're both PTs and coaches, and like that anatomy thing you just talked about. I don't think most people think about that, think like that. And because I'm a coach myself and I train a lot of people, I just, when someone says that to me, I'm like, for me, mate, that's not the best way. Do you know what I mean? I instantly think that. I'm like, we talk about it in training and we'd be like inverting. I'm like, I'm not fucking going to be inverting if I'm doing it. I'm going to be pulling him this way and just like anchoring off his leg or something because I can't fold myself in half because I've got a fat head. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen. Do you know what I mean?
De La Riva stuff, and like I'm not the biggest fan of all that. You know, it's great, and it's annoying as fuck when someone is very good and they get those great. But me personally, I like. I'm actually loving nogi at the minute. I've been doing more nogi recently, and it's only because like when I have my Bali retreats, I'm training with my friends that are all professional fighters, MMA guys, and I'm like, I need to have one up on them with something. And like, you stop pulling guard when you do MMA sparring and someone starts punching you in the fucking face.
Yeah, fucking.
You're like, yeah, this ain't gonna work no more. So that's why I've been loving nogi more recently. I've been shooting. I've never shot so many single legs in my life, you know. So I'm loving that at the minute.
Yeah, mate, it's class. I love no gi, mate. I've been in the gi a bit more lately, but still prefer no gi, mate. I just find it more fun, mate.
Yeah, I've always trained probably 50-50, mate, to be fair. I think I did probably about 2 years no gi at the very beginning because it was just linked to MMA. Then threw a gi on after that, and I've been 50-50 since, mate. But we spoke to Chewy a while back, and he was talking about like the hands and even just the lapels on your knees. And I was like, mate, you're spot on, actually. My body just does not like the gi anymore. I always thought it was better because it was slower and not as like athletic. But actually, I think no gi is a little bit easier on the body.
The gi definitely feels more taxing these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking my hands, mate, kill. I don't even have bad hands, but like if I spend a couple of days in the gi, mate, I'm like, oh, fucking hell. Imagine that day in, day out for years, mate. That's why you've got fucked up hands, isn't it?
I agree, 100%.
Mate, what's your kind of advice or take on the split between jiu-jitsu training, strength training, flexibility work?
I think when it comes to doing, I think everyone's quite, like genetically, everyone's got a way stuff that they're good at, right? I think genetically, individuals are strong in some movements. Your anatomy, how long your limbs are, what you've done as a kid, what sport you have done as a kid dictates a lot in what is transferable and what is not, right? And I know there's parts of my jiu-jitsu that's good because my hips and my glutes are strong from football back in the day, from all the weight training, from all the running, 90 minutes of cardio. Like I can do round after round. I'm good with that, right? And luckily, I've had no like serious injuries in jiu-jitsu, and I definitely think it's down to resistance training, right? So I think the best balance, especially as jiu-jitsu athletes get older, and what I've realized, and this is me, I'm not going to call it bro science. I haven't done research on this. I don't know how to do research, but I'm very aware. I watch a lot of people. I watch my surroundings, and I always focus on people that have injuries and whatnot. And I always see the black belts with no bum, no glutes, have the most injuries. That's what I've seen, right? So the best split I would say is maintenance, minimum 2 days a week resistance training. Nothing specific, pull-ups, dips, split squats, Bulgarian splits, deadlift, whatever you can. I'd rather go B stance. And you don't have to load anything crazy. But I think for maintenance work to allow you and help you perform the best way possible is going to be a minimal split of 2 days resistance training and whatever you do with jiu-jitsu. Say it's 3 days jiu-jitsu, 2 days resistance training, because that sort of setup is going to allow you to do jiu-jitsu for a way longer period compared to you doing 6 days a week jiu-jitsu. I'm injured, I'm out for 4 months. You know what I mean? So it will slow your learning down as well as your execution, because you're going to be stronger, fitter, because that's what strength and conditioning coaches' main job, right? If you think about it, S&C coaches in sports clubs, their main job, and the best ones are the ones that get the minimal injuries throughout a season. Yeah. So if you think of it like that, because the only way to get better at jiu-jitsu is doing jiu-jitsu. So, and the only way to do more jiu-jitsu is if you do enough maintenance work on your body to keep up to date, to keep going fucking jiu-jitsu, you know?
Yeah.
No pull up with a gi around the bar is going to do shit for your jiu-jitsu, bruv. Know what I mean?
Yeah, mate, for sure. I agree. And how about flexibility work? Do you think you get enough like mobility work through like full range of movement in the gym and on the mats, or do you think you need to do specific flexibility work as well?
I think I've got like a little mobility routine that I do. Nothing crazy, but I do it like before a jiu-jitsu warm-up. And before a jiu-jitsu warm-up, I'll smash some single leg bodyweight RDLs. I'll do some glute bridges. I'll open up my hips. I'll do squats. I think the best way to like practice your mobility is by actually doing like the dynamic movements that's more transferable into whatever you're doing. So I don't really do any static stretching. If I do any static stretching, I usually do it if I'm sitting in a sauna, and whether it's helping me or not, it's helping me mentally feel like I'm doing something for my body that's helping me. So nothing specific, but if you think about every movement that you do in the gym, it's mobile, it's stretching and contracting the muscles that you're working every single day anyway. So to make it easier for individuals that do train jiu-jitsu, I think being more consistent with a very basic program instead of having to do mobility and stretching every day is just do a bit of mobility before you warm up. Warm up properly, activate wherever you need to activate. If I'm sitting in front of the TV in the evening, I'll just jump on the floor, open up my hips and whatnot, do some dynamic stretching. If I'm real tight. Other than that, no, nothing too crazy.
Yeah. I was thinking as you said that, it sounds like more activation that you're doing over anything before with with the glute bridges and the RDLs and that type of thing. And how about rep range, mate? I know we're getting into the detail probably more than most people need to right now.
Yeah.
But I know, I think Gordon back in the day was talking about a high rep and isometric strength. And obviously you look at the rep continuum, and then you've got like your 4s and your 6s for strength building where you're not getting into the hypertrophy range so much. What are your thoughts on that? You got any?
I think with that sort of stuff, right? If you're talking about like jiu-jitsu athletes like Gordon Ryan, he's talking about Gordon Ryan, yeah. I don't know how well he knows training, right? From what I've seen from videos, probably not the best. You can't doubt his fucking success as an athlete. I'm not saying that. But realistically, when you look at weights and you're on fucking juice, you're going to do well.
Especially taking as much as he is.
Yeah. So like, take what you want. I don't give a fuck. But what I'm saying is, you do any weight training, whether it's high volume, low volume, if you're on fucking steroids, you're going to benefit from it really well. Not only mentally, you're going to think you're fucking invincible. You're going to go, I don't get injured. I'm on fucking juice. I'm Superman. And your outcome's always going to be better. You're going to be more recovered. And the best athletes are usually the ones that are best rested. So from a rep range standpoint, if you're taking juice, do whatever the fuck you want, innit?
Just do what you fancy, mate.
Yeah, you got an advantage either way. And then if you're still losing, then you're just shit. And then the other thing is, anyone doing any level of resistance training for a sport, having a good base of, say, volume from fucking minimum from 6 to 10 reps, I think is essential to help them execute movements properly in a manner that when they do drop their volume in training to hit high intensity, they can actually hit it with the right movement instead of shit movement, because if you've only practiced 4 to 5 reps and you actually don't know how to move properly. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So then lower volume when you're doing a lot of jiu-jitsu, higher intensity, not crazy amount, because there's a lot of volume in jiu-jitsu. If the jiu-jitsu is less, then I would go potentially higher volume in weight training. And it's just very important for an individual to balance that out themselves and be very self-aware of how much volume they're doing in general, and as well as how much they're eating. Because if you're not eating enough and if you're not sleeping enough, you're not going to recover. You're going to have more injuries and your performance is going to be shit. So a very broad answer, but it's very hard to say what is specifically best, you know?
But I think that needs a broad answer, to be honest with you, because I don't think, unless you know the person specifically, it's a different answer for everyone, isn't it? You know, if it's a hobbyist training twice a week, it's different. If it's fucking someone training 5 times a week, even as a hobbyist, it's different. If it's a professional athlete, it's again completely different. You know, you talk about like how to train. Like I have a bit more time than most, so at the moment I'm going in and just doing like one single muscle group for 30 to 40 minutes a day, just 8 to 12 reps, just blasting my chest on a Monday, shoulders on a Tuesday, really basic, like not worrying, but mate, I feel great from it because I'm not killing myself in the gym, but I'm doing enough to keep myself like feeling strong, you know, and feel like I'm still improving my numbers and just working through it. I'm not spending hours in the gym like I used to and doing splits and this and that and with a full program because I don't need to anymore. I just feel like I need to get in. I need to, you know, make sure my chest is still working, my shoulders, you know, trying to prevent those injuries. That's it. That's all I think, you know, it's recovery. If I'm knackered, then I'll just dial it down a little bit. You know, I just won't push, you know, my shoulder press will be 20 kilos on dumbbells instead of fucking 30. You know, I'll just scale it.
100%. And I think you just got to think about performance, you know, and like if you think something is good for you, then it's good for you, innit? Because mentally people don't understand the power of placebo. Like it's one of the most powerful things. Like we all know, we've all been there when you've rolled with a higher belt and you've automatically told yourself you're going to lose, even if you're capable of beating them, you know? So like that is a prime example. Look at Nicky Rod's training. Is Nicky Rod probably following a strict program? Nicky Rod is banging weights, yeah? He don't give a fuck. He's got work rate. He's going in. He's like, this is good for me. And his jiu-jitsu is obviously good, so it's working for him well.
Mm-hmm. And he eats clean. That's the only difference, I think, with those boys. He's just eating whole natural foods is all they talk about.
And I didn't see him out. After he won, I didn't see him out in Vegas, bruv. He's going home resting up, you know? So like...
Yeah, proper athlete.
Yeah, exactly. So, and again, everyone needs to just recognize what works best for them and not focus so much on what's working well for other people. That's the main thing.
Yeah, that's a good shout, mate. You obviously touched on steroid use, mate, and there's a lot of talk around how dirty jiu-jitsu is as a sport, mate. As a you know, a man with a good eye for this type of thing, I'd imagine. Like, how rife do you think it is in jiu-jitsu?
Everyone's juiced up, bro. I'm jealous, man. I'm like, fuck. I mean, I've never touched it. Would I go on TRT one day? 100% when I pop some kids at some point, I'll do it.
Yeah, I'm on TRT. I'm on TRT. Yeah, well, when we first started this podcast, mate, it all come about because we had a doctor on and she was talking about all the symptoms. She was talking about all the symptoms of like low test, and I was just a bit like, I feel a bit like that. Got a blood test done, and I was like basically a woman, mate. So on the TRT, but yeah, it does make you feel better. But again, it's only when I was on TRT for about 6-7 months, I got my blood test done again, and Paul was higher than me naturally. That's how little I was on,
and 7 years older as well.
And 7 years older. So,
but I think there's a lot of like genetics is a big thing with everything. People just don't recognize that enough. Like you're genetically, like, brother, my granddad was 80. Like my granddad's died. He died years ago. He died when he was like 96, 97. But boy, he was still on it. Like, I could see him pinching my grandma like, yo, let's get to work, you know? So I think genetics play a huge part in this. That's the first thing. The second thing is your lifestyle, huge.
Yeah.
You know? So for me personally, as long as my dick still gets hard, and I can keep my life as well as possible, I'm not even going to do a blood test, because a lot of boys, they're like, Diren, you should do it. You should check it. I'm like, no, I don't want to see too much data, because when I see too much shit, it affects me. I feel good. So I'm not going to do any of that right now. If I start feeling really shit, I'll question my lifestyle. And then after that, if I feel like it will benefit me, if I want to keep training hard jiu-jitsu when I'm 45, cool, I'll jump on it. But I personally got no rush. I don't judge anyone that does it. Good for you. But at the moment, I just think if you're on it, I think just people should just say it. That's my only thing with that stuff. If you're on it, just say it, mate. It's fine. Not like it's nothing new, bruv. It's not like you're carrying an STD in it. So like you're on some TRT, whoop-de-doo. Like, I mean, fucking most men that listen to Joe Rogan's probably on it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think there's a difference as well between like TRT and then what fucking Gordon Ryan's doing. You know what I mean? When they're on like
the important thing is the RT is replacement therapy.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, I'm actually on TRT. You know what I mean? I'm taking fuck all really. You know, and then like you hear some people stack, mate, and it's like fucking how are they? That's why their like bodies are breaking down, mate. You know, and the thing is, they don't even need. I always wonder who's giving Gordon this advice. Like, who's he getting it off? Like, you know, no, like who's giving him this advice? Like, you know what I mean?
But like, I don't know how much. I wouldn't have a clue what the fuck he's taking or who's giving him advice or whatnot. But like, and I haven't seen him take it, so I don't know if he's taking it. Technically, I don't know. Right? Looks like it, but I think
he's pretty open about it, though, isn't he?
Sorry.
He's open about it.
Yeah.
He's open about it. Yeah.
But my main thing is, like, I think some people they don't accept this, right? Genetically, we can only get to a certain stage, right? Mm-hmm. You know, when like really small, really petite guys try to be jacked, I'm just like, let it go, cuz. Let it go, bruv. You're not going to be that guy, innit? Just work on something else. Like, work on something else, you know? Like, it's when you start doing that, that's when it plays up. That's when it fucks you over. And then you go into some mental cycle. Just like anyone that does too much cocaine, they need more, they need this, they need that. It's probably the same thing. Up your dosage. I don't ever want to feel small. You look in the mirror, you feel slightly skinny, up the dosage, whatever the fuck, you know? Yeah. Just maybe before you do steroids, not TRT, but like actual fucking steroids, if you're going ham, I'll suggest you see a therapist first, and then and then start jumping on some real shit. You know what I mean? Because like, again, replacement is different, but some of these motherfuckers like could play dot to dot with the fucking skin shit they got going on their back. The amount of fucking I don't know what the fuck they're on, growth, anavar, test, whatever the fuck, you know. So it's wild. It is wild to me, but. I do want to feel one day though what it's like. Like I do want to feel like, oh my god, like imagine that. Like imagine me with more tests, be fucking like a rabbit.
Mate, but the thing is, you hear so many people. Like, there's a lad in our local gym, and I got told recently, like he was juicing for a bit, and he was not a bad white belt, got his blue belt quite quickly. And then I heard last week that he's like got fucking heart problems and that. And I'm like, he's only 33. He was like juicing pretty bad. He was big, mate. He went from like 85 kilos to like fucking nearly 100. He was like my size. And then like he was getting pretty good. And then I say to him like, how much you taking, mate? And he was like, oh, just, you know, a mil a week. And I was like, what? It's like 3 times as much as me, mate. And then he was like, it's talk about other shit he was taking or used to take. But if they used to take it, you know, it's easy for them to just slide it back into that fucking stack in it, you know? And then, and he's only like young, mate. And now he's like down to like 82 kilos or something apparently and skinny as fuck and just got a heart problem now. It's like not worth it, is it? It's just not worth it. It's just not, it's just, especially if you're a hobbyist, mate. That's the thing.
I mean, that's the difference. I get it if you know.
I get it more. I still don't completely understand, but like Gordon, I get it because he's earning millions out of it. He's smashing everyone. He's allowed to do it. I get it a bit more. Like it's that risk reward balance. You know, he's fucking his health up, but he's probably going to go down as the GOAT, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, no gi.
But then you look at. But then who do you have more respect for? Someone like Nicky Rod going against him at it, that's not touched that, and you can tell. You can tell when someone's on it, right?
Yeah, 100%. Mate, you can just tell by their skin and fucking the way they look. You know, people on gear, mate, they look like a big fucking vein, don't they? A big throbbing cock. You know, they're just
And if you look at like the cycle of the ups and downs they have, you can usually tell as well. You know, so. But again, I don't have a problem. Do what the fuck you want with your life. But like, if someone was juiced the fuck up, and if they beat me in a like roll or whatever, and they're bragging about it, or they got that sort of energy, I would definitely play mind games with them, like for sure. Because I'm 100%. I remember like when I was working in Sydney Fitness First, and there was a guy that was juiced the fuck up, and he was a bit of a dick. And every now and then I'd be like, "Raw, your right biceps looking slightly smaller than your left."
It kills him, mate. It kills him.
I would see him at lunchtime doing single arm bicep curls on the other arm. Mate, I was only joking. It was your right arm that was fucking smaller. But like,
mate, that's fucking class, isn't it?
I just think anything in life, man, if you're mentally resilient as fuck, and if you don't need anything, you know, I think we need to, in general, just up that standard, because I feel like society is just getting worse. So, like, if you up that standard in a way to, like, influence people like that, I think it's better. I think it's healthier. But again, do what you want. It's not my problem, you know?
Yeah, I agree, mate.
Do you think the sport needs to clean up to be mainstream, mate? Or do you think people appreciate a grappling version of the steroid Olympics?
The thing is, Jiu-Jitsu is a I guess it's a what do you call it? Like judo's at the top of that, right? Like it's a thing from judo. Am I right? From like samurai, I'm pretty sure. Like jiu-jitsu is a break, from judo, right? So would it ever be in the Olympics? Is the first question.
No, I don't think it will. I think I just mean like people joke about imagine the steroid Olympics, how cool it would be, right? Seeing like you're seeing Bolt on gear, how fast he would be. So you've almost got like a version of judo in jiu-jitsu that's kind of like that. So it's kind of appealing, but actually from a mainstream perspective, is that going to get it where it needs to be, you know?
I don't think people care, do they?
I think I like watching juice heads going at it, innit? It's fun.
That's what I mean. It's fun, isn't it? Two massive dudes fucking on it.
Yeah, just going at it. But do you want your kids to see that is the next question, is the more important question. So like, because then realistically, you could do it yourself. You're more self-aware. But if your kid is seeing that and he's loving the sport and he's getting influence like that, then there's a question where like, nah, I'm not feeling that. I don't think that's good for mainstream.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
I think, kids in their 20s as well coming through, innit? Like, it's all right for us. Like, if you're over 30 and you're like looking at TRT and you think, you start declining and whatever else, right? I think the big danger is exactly what you're getting at, is those 19, 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds who are like idolizing Gordon Ryan and thinking, I need to take fucking this much juice now to be as good as Gordon, if they're technically pretty good. And then once they do that, mate, the endocrine system's fucked for life. You know what I mean? Like, if you start fucking around with those bad ones, like if you start going on Tren or Debo or anything like that, it's hard to get it back, mate. You know, it's hard. And then they're screwed up for life, mate. And then that leads on to all sorts, mate. Hair loss, depression, fucking gyno, like all sorts of stuff, mate. And it's real problems, mate, for these kids. You know, you got lads now in their mid-20s having gyno surgery, which is fucking crazy. Do you know what I mean? Getting bitch tits at 25 because they're taking too much gear when they're 20, you know?
There's a reason that generation is getting weaker and weaker in it. So like, I think it's important to, I think for that reason, nah. But like, I don't think it's ever going to get to I think there'll be loads of really cool competitions like CGI and whatnot that are going to be really good for the sport. But as you know, there's a type of person that loves jiu-jitsu and is like, and the question is, I don't think it will ever be like, I don't know, I could be wrong. I hope it does become mainstream, but I don't know if they'll allow it. I don't know if
I know. I feel the same, mate. I don't know where. I don't know if we're going to come under one complete rule set. I think that's one thing that jiu-jitsu needs to agree on, is like one rule set effectively to make it so everyone knows what the fuck's going on. And then again, like getting rid of steroids, is that going to happen? I don't know. Is who's going to put the money in to be able to do it? Which organization? And then is everyone going to agree that's what we're going to do? You know, it's like, you know, it's a bit of a free for all at the moment, isn't it? You know what I mean? You can go to some, like that blue belt comp I'm going to, it's any submission. So like, you know what I mean? I could be can opened, mate, in the first 30 seconds and fucking have a bad neck for the rest of my life.
You don't have a neck, mate, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I know.
Know what I mean? Just make sure you tap. Just tap.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But you know what I mean, though, don't you? It's like we need to, like, for it to be mainstream, I think we need to get one rule set. It's like I always think of it, it's like playing football with 50 different fucking rules. Like imagine if you played in the Premier League and it's like 11 aside with offsides, and you go to the Championship and then you're not playing offsides and it's 9 men. You know, it's a different game. And then it's like futsal or whatever. It's the same thing with jiu-jitsu. We're playing like, it's the same sport, but played 10 different ways. And that's what we need to clean up. We need to, like, someone, I don't know fucking who, I don't know if it's going to be like Joe Rogan or Eddie Bravo or someone with loads of power, PJF or Craig or whoever the fuck it is, but someone needs to take control and like get everyone together and just be like, this is going to be the official rule set.
You got to think of this, like, why is the UFC so big? Like, why is it so big, right? My theory is you get to see people knock the fuck out, right? Mm-hmm. When the average Joe walks on the street that's never trained, watches the UFC, and goes, oh, what's the rule? Oh, yeah, if he knocks him out, it's done. Easy, right? When the fight goes to the floor, us jiu-jitsu nerds fucking love it because, like, oh, my days, he's got fucking half guard. Oh, my days, he's going to da-da-da. But when the average Joe's watching that, he's like, what the fuck is this? Get the fuck up.
Yeah, stand up, you bitch.
You know, exactly. So, like, you might watch judo. It's like, yeah, first man's back on the floor is done. Simple. The problem with jiu-jitsu is it's actually so complex that unless you're invested, you don't know what the hell is happening.
Yeah,
therefore, it makes it very hard to be mainstream. Football, get the ball in the net, done. Tennis, points. Basketball, get it through the hoop. So what you're telling me, this guy did a takedown and he was half guard for 6 minutes and he won with 2 points. Do you know what I mean? Like the mainstream guys are going, what the fuck is this? I don't want to watch this. So you know, so that's why it's a hard one. It's hard. But again, there's an audience for everything. And obviously jiu-jitsu is huge, you know, and I fucking love it. But like, if I've got a girl over and I'm like, yo, I just need to watch this. And they're like, why are you watching some fucking man hugging some other man on the floor and there's no movement? What's that? What? North, south? What the fuck is that? You know, like, so yeah, I don't know.
Like it's true though. From the outside, if you got your bird or something watching it, like they look at it and they're like, obviously the guy on top's winning. I'm like, no, like I'm like, no, like Levi's doing good against Cade in the final sort of thing. I was like, it's close. And she's like, how is it close? Yeah, it can't be close. Like, it's one guy just laying on his back. And I'm like, yeah, but this guard's really good, and trying to explain it to her. And she's like, he's a pussy. Tell him to get up, get him up. Like, and I'm just like, it's jiu-jitsu. It's jiu-jitsu.
Exactly.
Yeah, man, crazy old sport, mate. We'll let you shoot off shortly, mate. Appreciate your time. Just if you got like an extra 5 minutes, mate, just tell us real quick about some of the work you do, mate. Because I know you went, obviously, I think fully online in like 2017-ish, around there.
Yeah.
And you seem to be smashing it, mate. Blowing up in Turkey as well. So yeah, tell us a little bit about some of the stuff you got going on, man.
Personally, I've had a pretty successful fitness business in the UK, online fitness business. I was very good one-to-one, so I decided to go online. I'd say I smashed it online. I did pretty well. Could I do more? I could, but now I'm focusing on kind of making fitness a better, educating people in Turkey a bit more about fitness. They're a little bit behind, and I want to do my best to make fitness as accessible as possible to Turkey. So I've got a separate profile where I speak, just because I speak fluent Turkish, and I've got like 1 million plus followers in Turkey, which is cool as fuck. So I'm doing that at the minute now in the UK. I'm actually loving doing some face-to-face stuff, and the face-to-face stuff I'm doing, I do about 3 to 4 retreats a year to Bali, where people will come, and I take to my friend's fight club, where we train, we hang out, we go surfing, we hit beach clubs, teach people how to box and whatnot. So that's what I'm mainly doing in the UK, and I do fitness challenges 2-3 times a year, nothing crazy, but that's what I'm working on. And mostly in the UK. I don't know, man. When I get my black belt, I can start teaching jiu-jitsu. Fuck no, that's what I want to do. But mainly, I'm just having a bit of fun, riding the wave, and whatever comes my way, kind of not forcing anything. Yeah, that's it really. Yeah. That's the goal. Biggest fitness guy in Turkey and the Middle East is the first goal. The second goal is just do entertaining, fun stuff that revolve around sport in the UK.
Yeah, class.
Yeah, that's sick, mate. Where can people find you, mate?
Just search Diren Kartal, and you'll see some random shit for sure. Anywhere. Google, Insta, anywhere. Yeah.
Awesome. Right, that's been sick.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you guys for having me, and I can't believe you guys cancelled the first 2 times you asked me to come on. Sorry, my bad. No, you can tell the story another time. No, basically, before we go, they confirmed the date, and they messaged me like, "Hey, Darren, we're just waiting for you online." And I was like, "Holy fuck!" I had a bit of an emergency, but I totally fucking forgot to message them, and I felt so bad. You know when you feel a different loyalty to jiu-jitsu people, don't you? You know when you see like jiu-jitsu people, you're like, brother, and I felt terrible in it. So I apologize again for that, but it was great to come on and have a chat with you boys for sure. Thanks.
Yeah, it was a really good podcast, mate. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, glad we got it done, mate. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, legend. Thank you.